Hello and a very good afternoon to you. If we asked you to name 3 sports which are all played on a green surface, you might suggest football. There's some Pittodrie Stadium. It's Aberdeen against Rangers, and it turned out to be one of the most absorbing matches of the season.
Held at the Scottish Exhibition and Conference Centre in Glasgow next weekend. If you've entered our Sixes competition, find out if you've won yourself an evening out for the finals when we announce the 6 lucky winners.
He travels south again tomorrow for his final treatment spell at the Lilleshall Centre in Shropshire. Out now for 11 weeks because of a hamstring injury, McCoy says he's hopeful of returning in time for Rangers Cup match against Raith Rovers on the 28th of this month. This morning he described the type of treatment he's been receiving. And check out the headgear.
It's more hard work than anything else. I think the treatment itself on the injury is okay now because the injury feels a lot better. So now what we're trying to do is build up the general fitness on the left leg again.
And how fit are you at this stage?
Well, my right leg's fitter than my left leg, put it that way. But I've still a wee bit of work to do.
It's being said that you could be back in time for Rangers Cup game at Kirkcaldy against Raith Rovers. Is that maybe too optimistic, or do you think you've got a good chance?
Well, as I say, I've been out 11 weeks now, so I'm not used to me sort of trying to pinpoint dates, but I must admit I'd be a little bit disappointed if I wasn't back for Cammy Fraser and company for the Raith Rovers game.
Now, usually we don't feature many matches from Africa on Scott Sport. Today we make an exception. The place, French Guiana in West Africa, Kourou versus Red Star, 2 of the country's league clubs. The magic moment comes from Kourou goalkeeper Laurent Monde, who robs an opposing attacker of the ball in his own area and then gets the head down. The crowd watched on in disbelief as he beat man after man down the right wing, and Mr. Monde then hit a terrific shot which flew past his opposite number in the Red Star goal. It gave his side a share of the points in the eventual 2-2 draw, and Mr. Laurent Monde was the toast of his club and of French Guianan football. It's certain to be that country's goal of the season.
And so next to Pittodrie for what could prove to be one of the most significant Premier League matches of the season, with a 3-2 win over Partick Thistle. And finally, in the second division of the B&Q League, Cowdenbeath and Queen's Park took full advantage of Albion Rovers Cup replay to maintain their promotion challenge. And a look at the league tables takes us to the break.
One of the most memorable of all time. The game is Kourou against Red Star, a league match in French Guiana, West Africa. And just watch out for Kourou goalkeeper Laurent Monde. Now, there he is. He takes the ball off the toe of an advancing Red Star attacker and, of course, is now dangerously out of his area. But Mr. Monde chose to throw caution to the wind and began motoring up the field, avoiding tackle after tackle. And then he proceeded to crash a quite unsafable shot past his opposite number. Not surprisingly, the keeper and his Kourou teammates went wild. Even in French Guiana, goals like this one are a rarity. I understand the goal has been shown throughout many countries of the world this week, once the extent of Mr. Monde's achievement was fully realised. One can only suppose that when he realised he was way out of his area and on the run upfield, the only thing to do was to keep going. A quite sensational run it was, and one which brought a goal which put French Guianan football on the map. All thanks to a goalkeeper called Laurent Monde. Amazing, wasn't it?
He's probably a national hero by now, Jim.
I think so.
Well, coming up on Extra Time this evening.
Signed as manager of Dundee, leaving coach John Blackley in charge of the side for tomorrow's match against Rangers at Ibrox. Smith's decision comes after only 217 days in the Dens Park hot seat, in which he saw his side win 5 games out of 24. Now, tonight, Smith is back home in Plymouth, and tomorrow he will watch his old club, Plymouth Argyle, take on Tranmere Rovers. That the job will be advertised, but already there are obvious candidates. Gordon McQueen has done a tremendous job at Airdrie in a short time, while Falkirk boss Jim Duffy has already made a big impression in the First Division and is an ex-Dens Park player. But out-of-work Sandy Jardine must also be a front-runner, as well as coach John Blackley, who has been invited to apply for the job by the chairman. Now, Luton Town today signed Dave Beaumont from Dundee United for £150,000. And as you can see, a right few crowd pullers there with top-of-the-table clubs Rangers and Dundee United both at home. And that's how close it is, and Rangers will be looking for the kind of form tomorrow that kept them up there last week at Pittodrie.
On the far side, Gary Stevens. Ferguson's onside, so is Walters. A chance now for Rangers. Ferguson looks up, Snell does, Ferguson, It comes off Stuart Monroe and the ball's in the net. Good challenge by McLeish. Through the middle is Derek Ferguson. That pass Amir Ferguson, a great chance for the second. Brilliant play from Derek Ferguson. This is Mason. It's a great ball across. There's Connor. Now Nicholas. The ball was over the line. Aberdeen have pulled one back.
And the big news from Ibrox is that Ali McCoist is back in the squad, having spent all week in England fighting off his injury at the Lilleshall Centre. Now, McCoist has missed 14 games for Rangers, but he will play a part in tomorrow's match. And player boss Graham Souness is expected to start the game for the first time in 10 months. And after exactly a year out of football, Hearts expect Craig Levein to make his comeback tomorrow, and he couldn't face a more difficult side. Hearts are away to Dundee United. Now, Hazel has been there to have a look.
It might be hard to believe, but you know, in just a few short months, this will be McDermott Park, home to St Johnstone Football Club. The move from the club's present home, Muirton Park, will take place early in the summer and has been made possible thanks to a large supermarket chain who've bought both Muirton and the neighbouring ice rink for redevelopment. The club's new home, McDermott Park, named after the St Johnstone shareholder who owns the land, is now well underway and will very soon look a bit like this. A 10,000 all-seated stadium, an additional full-length all-weather pitch, car parking facilities for 1,000 cars and 100 buses. It should see St Johnstone into the next century. But designing a new stadium from scratch isn't easy, as club chairman Jeff Brown explains.
It's over 50 years since a purpose-built stadium was built for football. And the building regulations, and if you've seen the building regulation book, you'll understand just what it's all about. But within that book, there is not a criteria on football stadiums. So on first meetings with building control, it was suggested it be treated similarly to a theatre. So for obvious reasons, we were faced with the possibility of providing toilets for 5,000 female and 5,000 gents. So you can well imagine just how many WCs and wash-hand basins there were going to be. Since then, sensibly, it's been reduced quite a bit. We obviously still hope we can get 5,000 females.
Of course. But thoughts of the new are inevitably tinged with sadness at leaving Muirton Park, a ground which has produced so many famous names. Benny Rooney, Henry Hall, John Connolly, Alex Ferguson, Alec MacDonald, and most recently, of course, Ali McCoist.
Fleming knocking it forward, good running by Brogan. Brogan turning it out in front, and it's there. Ali McCoist's 18th goal of the season. Fleming. Nice lifted up by Brogan. Here comes McCoist, and that's a glorious goal. Exactly a repetition of the first goal. Fleming, Brogan, McCoist, 15 and a half minutes, 2-0. McNeil forward, Brogan. McCoist. Oh, what a save. Chance here for Pelosi, and it's a goal. McCoist scores. McCoist. Oh, and that's a glorious goal. That's a beautiful goal by McCoist.
Well, Ali McCoist has certainly moved on, and so too will St Johnstone. But just how much of a wrench will that move be?
I think there's a lot of supporters, they look upon it as being a real wrench. But as a realist, we have to look at it to be something that's going to be a tremendous advantage to the club in the future.
How much do you think it will affect St Johnstone's promotion chances?
Well, hopefully we want to open the stadium in the Premier League, and with the manager that we've got, it's certainly not beyond us. Should we fail, the situation is it's something that's going to be a lift to everyone connected with the club. Players, backroom staff, directors, everyone that hopefully our supporters will back us to the hilt.
Great. Interesting seeing Ali McCoist as a boy there. How he's aged. In Division 2.
In tomorrow's racing, and if you...
I think I'll go for Russell.
Russell. Well, I'm going to go for Out of the Gloom for the only reason it reminds me of your eyes when you came in this morning, and you look really awful at this particular time, but I hear you were working late last night.
We're working to the early hours of the morning, Jim, but well worth it as you saw that report there.
Do you know much about racing?
Well, the last time I bet a horse, Jim, it went the wrong way around the course. Just as well I backed it each way.
Just the way you don't know much about football either, is it?
Exactly, yes. I'm still in the lead.
Well, of course, I've gone for Out of the Gloom with Peter Scudamore on top, so I go for a man who's in form, Peter Scudamore now with...
Remember, two players at 2:45 during a game actually nipped out just before we went onto the pitch to put a line on down Copeland Road.
Put
I'll not name any names.
So you're not playing for Dundee United, put a line on these days.
Mix who put a line on, that's quite clever. Start of the season, I said...
Britain today, 42,003 their arc. Well, we did get to Easter Road eventually.
Good evening from the Scottish Exhibition and Conference Centre here in Glasgow for another session of play here at the Tennant Sixes.
That's right, we've already had an exciting afternoon's play here at the Sixes with the Group 1 matches. And tonight the Group 1 table stands like this. Celtic are through to the semi-finals tomorrow with 3 matches out of 3, but that second semi-final place is still to be decided between Hamilton and St Mirren tomorrow night.
Now these are the teams in Group 2 tonight. Dundee United, Hearts, Hibs, Motherwell and Rangers.
So bound to be a few cracking matches in store for us.
Certainly are, Hazel. Let's join...
Welcome back to the Tennant Sixes, and you join me just as Rangers take the field for their first game against Dundee United. This is the big one, the clash of the two top Premier Leagues in Scotland at the moment. Without any further ado, let's get back to Jock Brown.
So Dundee United with their starting lineup in white again, and they're bringing on the big guns for the most part. Alec Cleland, the only youngster, along with, of course, Alan Main in goal. And Maurice Malpass will certainly relish this big match atmosphere against Rangers. And there's the Rangers lineup, again in white. Graham Souness, Davy Cooper, Ali McCoist, all in the starting lineup. But the most remarkable introduction is that of Chris Woods, who makes a return and goal. And this becomes a very important occasion for the English international goalkeeper. The referee Andrew Waddle satisfies himself that all is well for the start of this big clash, and the arena, of course, full of Rangers fans who didn't take part last season, but here, as though they mean business tonight. Looking at their lineup, here's Graham Souness. Stuart Monroe goes forward, followed by Bowman. Davy Cooper getting some welcome match practice also. Here's Monroe. It's well taken by Main. He had to hold that. McCoist was hovering. It's back with Bowman. Here's Gallagher. Tackled by Nicol. Gallagher again. Going away from Cooper. Blocked by the chest of Woods. Good effort that from Gallagher, but Woods managed to cope all right. Here's Graham Souness. And McKinley. Racing forward now, Gallagher. Yes! Brilliantly finished by Gallagher. Chris Woods had no answer to that, and I wonder if he would have, even if he had been in full match practice. Look at the way that was finished by Kevin Gallagher. Kevin Gallagher's turn, he's brought down by Monroe, right at the edge of the area. Electric turn that from Kevin Gallagher. Inducing that rash challenge from Monroe. Two-man wall, the maximum, and back to McKinley. There's Gallagher. The tackle from Monroe was adequate to prevent any power in the shot. There's Monroe. And Davy Cooper. McCoist. Found its way past Alan Main. McCoist is on the score sheet. The Rangers fans celebrate the first goal from their team of the night. There was McCoist. Well, Alan Main, I'm sure, will consider that a goal conceded. One each. McCoist in possession again. There's Davy Cooper. That's well saved by Main. And McKinley completed the clearance. Neil Cooper is on for Rangers, battling hard there with Alec Cleland and Billy McKinley. There's Gallagher with Souness. Down goes Gallagher. Bad tackle by Souness. Well, the sin bin has only been used once so far in the tournament. It was Brian Irvine. Graham Souness being spoken to by referee Waddle, but no other action being taken. There's French, who's come on for United. Kevin Gallagher takes over, beaten away by Woods. There's Cleland. Good finish by Alec Cleland, the youngster in the United ranks. It was Kevin Gallagher who caused the problem, beaten away there by Woods, and there was Cleland to stab the ball home. Spencer goes off. Kevin Gallagher and McKinley. Good turn by Cleland. Gallagher goes across. There's Kevin Gallagher, United looking for the killer goal, the third, which will give them a 2-goal cushion. The time running out rapidly. There's Davy Cooper and Ali McCoist. Monroe. Cooper back to Monroe. As Souness, 1 minute left. Foul pass turns away from McCoist. Well, he'll keep possession for the rest of the match if need be, and if he's allowed. Down he goes, and the challenge from Souness. Souness goes off, Nicol comes on. Here's McKinley and Malpass. He's had a superb match for United, Maurice Malpass, controlling everything. Monroe and Gallagher at the corner. Monroe brings it clear. Here's Nicol, half a minute left. Can Rangers save the match? The equaliser late on. And McCoist provides it. Inside the last half minute, Ali McCoist equalises for Rangers. Fine turn this is. Shot to the left foot, right beyond Alan Main into the corner. The countdown begins now. United thought they had the match won, I think. But the Hooter going now at any second. There it goes. Final score is Dundee United 2, Rangers, courtesy of Ali McCoist, 2. Jimmy Bowen and Gordon Wallace, the United coaches. In the dugout, this is a very important sequence of penalties for United. Kevin Gallagher will take the first. Testing work for Chris Woods also. Here's Gallagher. Well, no mistake there from Gallagher. Beautifully struck right into the corner. The Woods going the wrong way, and a lot of power in that shot from Gallagher. So Cooper will take the first for Rangers. Davy Cooper, that is, against Alan Main. Well, equally convincing. So Davy Cooper sending Main the wrong way this time. The left foot dumping the ball home. Billy McKinley now facing Chris Woods. Well, Woods guessed right, and McKinley hit the post with it. Disappointment for the young man. Graham Souness sees the prospect now of victory for Rangers. Well, it wasn't even the post, it was wider than that from McKinley. Here's Jimmy Nicol against Alan Main. Driven into the corner. Good finish again from Rangers. Main guessing right, but the pace of the ball beaten. Here's Dave Bowman now for United. And a great save from Chris Woods. Well, that'll do his confidence a lot of good. He still doesn't look quite himself, I must say, but he certainly got to that brilliantly. Stuart Monroe now can win the match for Rangers with this penalty kick, which will put it beyond United. And Main brings off a great save for Dundee United. United hanging on now by their fingertips. Great save that indeed from Main. So Malpass has to score to force Rangers to win it with their last kick. This Malpass, not renowned for scoring goals or taking penalties. Well, I can't think why after that. Beautifully finished by Maurice Malpass. Well, an excellent penalty from Malpass, who had a superb game against Rangers. And now it's McCoist with a chance to win the tie or win the match for Rangers. Well, ever the showman, Ali McCoist, he couldn't resist it. Beautifully finished by McCoist. You could tell he enjoyed that to the full. Just look at this.
Ali McCoist, a bit of a cheeky penalty kick at the end there.
Well, I had a wee chat with David there, and the goalkeepers always dive there. And there was no pressure on really because I had missed it. We still had another chance, so a wee bit cheeky, maybe a wee bit.
Rangers not a wee bit lucky to get through there.
Yeah, I think so. We left a wee bit late. We got the equaliser with about 15-20 seconds to go. But that's the secret of the sixes. It's 100-mile-an-hour stuff, great for the fans.
In Group 2, Hibs are top, of course, with 4 points. Hearts and Rangers second on 2 points. Motherwell and Dundee United, who play next, clearly have it all to do. So let's join.
Welcome back. Well, once again, it's the turn of the Hibees, the Hibs from Edinburgh, the team currently in form with 2 wins out of 2. They're playing Rangers, who had that tense penalty decider against Dundee United. Let's see how it turns out. Back once again to Jock Brown.
So Hibs coming out to face Rangers. Hibs with a 100% record at this stage, and there's their starting lineup in white. So full 12-man squad. Andy Gordon was the key man in the last match. He'll be very important again. Rangers lining up there, showing Graham Souness as number 4 as a substitute, but I think we'll be able to show you in just a second. There's no chance of that because there he is. He's changed out of his gear and he's now in civilian clothes to watch the rest of the proceedings, so he will take no further part this evening. So referee Douglas Hope sets the game in motion, and Rangers have only played once. They have 2 points from that. Hibs have 4 from their 2 matches. So at the moment, I would suggest favourites to qualify from this section, perhaps, both these clubs, but this game could have a very important bearing on things. So the Hibs keep their top goal scorer, George McCluskey, in reserve for the moment. He scored 3 times for them. And Rangers' only goal scorer so far is Ali McCoist, who's not in the starting lineup. Here's Ian McCall. Breaks for Collins. And Gareth Evans all on his own. A great chance for Hibs. Well, you can't finish any better than that. Lashing the ball into the roof of the net. Well, despite his deadpan expression, I'm sure he enjoyed that thoroughly. Leaving Chris Woods exposed to Rangers' defence. He had no answer to that. Here's Davy Cooper. Now Nicol. Neil Cooper. McSwegan. So impressive in the Rangers reserves. As it goes to Nicol, a deflection. And Rangers are back on level terms. Neil Cooper goes off, he's been replaced. Let's see where this came from. It was a powerfully hit shot that came off Neil Cooper. He gets the credit, steering the ball into the net. 1 each, and a fine match developing. And it's tough, mighty tough out there. Scott Nisbet has come on for Rangers. Here's Davy Cooper. Domenico making a run on the far side. McSwegan shot. And a great finish by Gary McSwegan. That will endear him to the Rangers fans, of whom there are plenty inside the exhibition centre tonight. Hooked in with the left foot, and Rangers go in front. Kane to Milne. Evans laying it off for Kane, but Neil Cooper steps in. Here's McCoist. Now Neil Cooper. Now John Spencer. Snap shot. There's Ali McCoist. Tackled by Sneddon. The referee indicates a dive as Rangers appeal for a penalty. There's Spencer. Excellent handling once again by Cooper. Collins back to Sneddon. There's Collins. Off the border, well taken by Woods. Well, that's very sharp, alert goalkeeping. It looks as though he's growing in confidence now. Obviously came into tonight's tournament with lots of doubts. So 50 seconds remaining. Peter Cormack on with some instructions. Neil Cooper goes on for Ian McCall just to tighten things up for the closing seconds. Here's McCluskey. Trying to find space for a shot at goal, and Nisbet sends it forward. It's collected by McCoist. He's tackled instantly by Snedden. Nisbet and Tortolano together. Still Nisbet. Leaving it now to Neil Cooper. Takes it along the boards to safety. Here's Andy Gorham. Time running out now for Hibs. Here's George McCluskey. Can he do something right in the dying seconds? Taking on Monroe. Great save from Woods. Magnificent diving save by Chris Woods. And that is the save which guarantees victory for Rangers. He still doesn't look entirely happy, Chris Woods, but he played superbly in that victory. The final score, Hibs 1, Rangers 2.
Chris Woods, we all know, of course, you've been suffering from this problem with balance and vision. Here you are playing at the Sixes tonight. How are you feeling?
Well, better than what I have been, but it's still not quite right, but it's a step in the right direction.
Have you suffered any problems at all whilst you've been playing tonight?
Only the usual things, but I usually get them anyway. Just trying to see the ball, that's the biggest problem. You know, goalkeepers are on a hide into nothing in this game anyway, so you know, you have to be 100% and it's quite difficult.
Right now, Hibs have played 3 games and they're top with 4 points. Rangers have played 2 and they're joint top with 4 points. Motherwell have 2 points, so too do Hearts and Dundee United. And now Rangers take on Motherwell. Let's rejoin Jock Bryan.
The final match of a superb day's entertainment. Rangers against Motherwell. Rangers looking to win this match to make them certain to qualify for the semi-finals. But Motherwell too know they're in with an excellent chance if they can get a victory, because with Hearts losing the last match to United, it's wide open in this section. With Hibs perhaps the favourites at this stage, with Rangers to qualify. But Motherwell showed their determination last year. They made the final for losing to Dundee. Got Walter Smith there in the middle of that Rangers dugout, Rangers bench rather. There's Jimmy Nicol. John Spencer shrugging off the challenge from Boyd the first time and the second time. That's good play by the youngster. Here's Scott Nisbet, who's joined the action. And now Mayer. Monroe is very quick to the ball. Tackled though by Mayer. Here's Bryce for Motherwell. Oh, that's great play by the youngster. Well, he will certainly have enjoyed that. His first goal of the night. Sammy Murray and Tom Forsyth on their feet to greet the goal from Stephen Bryce. Just look at the confidence here, going on, taking on his man, coming inside, steering the ball beyond Woods. It's Gordon there. Fraser Wishart is now on. Paul Kinnaird, blocked by Woods. It's Kinnaird again, inside the final minute. Well, now, Hooter is gone, but I can't think why, because there's still 50 seconds left in the first half. Now, it looks as though a penalty kick has been awarded to Motherwell, and that came from the official off the field. And I cannot honestly tell you what the infringement was. Gordon Mayer against Chris Woods. A great opportunity wasted. Motherwell still in the lead, but that would have made it 2-0. Scooped high over the bar. Down goes Spencer. He gets the free kick. If there's enough time to take it, the clock ticks on, 10 seconds remaining. Countdown begins. There's Cooper to Nicol. And it's his turn to loft the ball over the bar. And that's the half-time hooter now. It's Motherwell leading by 1-0. McCoist, the back killer into the path of Monroe, but Cammy Duncan steps out, leaves it now to Boyd. Working his way along the boards, good play. Still Boyd coming all the way himself. He has Kinnaird waiting in the middle. There's Kinnaird. A fine goal from Motherwell, inspired by their captain, Tom Boyd. 2-0 to Motherwell. This was a solo effort until the final touch. Boyd coming all the way upfield and then setting it up. An easy task for Paul Kinnaird. There's Craig Patterson. Fraser Wishart being policed by Jimmy Nicol. Swigan goes down, the tackle with Wishart. Here's O'Neill. Turned in again by Kinnaird, off the legs of McCall. 3-0 to Motherwell, Tom Forsyth doesn't look particularly happy, but I'm sure he is. Paul Kinnaird takes the credit. Colin O'Neill setting up the chance. Woods looking a little bit uncertain. It came off the boards, was forced in by Kinnaird. Spencer has come on, so has Neil Cooper. Jimmy Nicholl is off, so has Ian McCall. There's Spencer looking for McCoist. It's off the boards for Spencer. Well, a great chance for the youngster. He'd have enjoyed scoring that. Graham Souness looks impassive as he looks on from the sidelines. There's Steve Kirk. Philibin. There's Neil Cooper's challenge. Steve Kirk is there. There's Monroe. Now Spencer. Stuart Monroe. Neil Cooper. 1.5 minutes remaining. 3-0 to Motherwell. Stuart Monroe to John Spencer. Here's Neil Cooper. Back it goes to Monroe. McCoist controlling it well. Great shot on the turn, and McCoist pulls one back for Rangers. His third goal of the night. Looking determined and looking lively. Keeping up the record of every club getting a goal in each match. The corner for McCoist to chase. Neil Cooper helping. So 15 seconds left. Not enough time for Rangers to save the match. It's Swigan. Here's John Spencer. The countdown begins. Spencer going past Wishart. Still in possession. Getting a shot on target though. And there goes the final hooter. Motherwell, the winners by 3 goals to 1.
So after a hard-fought evening, this is the situation in Group 2, wide open as you can see. Motherwell, Hibs and Rangers all on 4 points, which means that tomorrow's session is all important. Hibs will play Motherwell, Rangers will play Hearts tomorrow night to see who goes through to those semi-finals. In Group 1, the situation is a lot clearer. Celtic through on 6 points, but Hamilton and St Mirren tied on 4 points, which means that tomorrow's game again is all important for this section. St Mirren must beat Celtic to qualify with them.
And that's it for day 1 at the 10 and 6s here at the Exhibition Centre. As promised, goals aplenty, action-packed all the way.
That's right, thank goodness it's given us a chance to draw breath. But be assured we'll be back at 6:30 tomorrow night with highlights of today's play. And not forgetting at 11:35 tomorrow night with the closing stages of this tremendous tournament.
And we'll leave you tonight with pictures of that famous Mexican wave.
Glasgow style.
Good night.
Glasgow Rangers, who are leading in the Scottish Premier Division, have brought into Scotland big transfer fees, English players, all-seat stands, and beyond past success, the promise of new heights in Europe. And their new owner hopes for even more.
37-year-old David Murray was one of the youngest to feature in a recent survey of Britain's 200 wealthiest people. He's said to be worth £40 million. In 1976, Murray lost his legs after a car crash. Since then, he's built an international metals and property business based in Edinburgh. Murray took over Glasgow Rangers Football Club at the end of last year. Now he's poised to unveil an ambitious expansion plan at the club's Ibrox Park.
It is our intention to announce in the next month and disclose plans to increase the capacity to over 50,000 in an all-seater stadium and rebuild the old traditional stand at Ibrox, but keeping the red brick and the public rooms that are there just now.
Rangers can now claim to be the biggest and best supported club in Britain. Average gates are running at around 39,500, with gate receipts at £4 million per season. The largest club in England, Manchester United, has average gates of 39,000, with annual receipts of £3.4 million. David Murray's partner at Rangers is Graham Souness, player, manager and a director. They plan to make Ibrox the envy of other clubs.
For me, we have the best stadium already. The things we have on paper will eventually make it, for me, maybe the best in Europe.
David Murray's club is competing on the European stage, unlike English teams. He has the money and ambition to establish Rangers as Britain's #1. Hugh Pym, News at 10, Glasgow.
The FA
Go. This last visit brings us coverage of the semi-final and final in the last stages of the Tennent's Sixes.
Good evening and welcome once again to the SEC here in Glasgow. It's the climax, second day of the Tennent's Sixes tournament. Remember that the games are 7.5 minutes each way and 10 minutes each way for the semis and the final.
That's right, Hazel. First of all, though, let me just remind you of this.
Hey, take a look at this league table. There you have it, Motherwell already through, but Rangers are now going to play Hearts. If Rangers win, they will join Motherwell in the semi-finals. If they don't, well, there you can see it. Hibs, Rangers and Hearts will all be on 4 points, and it's all back to goal difference.
So the first entrance for Rangers tonight. They look as though they may well make it to the semi-finals, and there's the lineup that'll start. The men in white there. A notable omission is Ali McCoist, but Chris Woods has reappeared tonight after his heroics yesterday, and a very welcome return to the Rangers goal after his spell of illness. There's the Hearts opening lineup. Again, they've brought the big guns through, and up front they have Ian Ferguson, a former Rangers player, and he will be very anxious to find the net. Henry Smith in goal, a very important player also. So it's Rangers against Hearts. Now, position here is that if Rangers win, they're definitely through. If they lose to Hearts, then it becomes a question of goal difference. Motherwell will definitely be through, and then it'll be a question of who goes through in second place, and that will be decided on goal difference. So Hearts not only have to win, but they have to win by a convincing score. There's Cahun. So a free kick on the halfway line for Hearts. Here's Ian Jordan. Cross it goes to Galloway, running into Nisbet. Nisbet now on the break. Interception by Ian Jordan. Here's Spencer. And there's the signal to indicate that there was no player on the Hearts side inside the attacking zone or inside the Rangers half. That makes it a penalty kick to Rangers. Very severe penalty for that infringement, but you have to keep one attacking player in the other half of the field. So here's Davy Cooper with the penalty. Cooper against Henry Smith. Rangers take the lead. Rangers take the lead by 1-0. Davy Cooper from the penalty spot. A hard lesson learnt here by Hearts. Smith guessed right but couldn't reach it. And there's a yellow card shown to Neil Cooper. Neil Cooper banished to the sin bin for 2 minutes for that tackle. So Rangers freshen up with Nisbet going on, McCall going off. Sandy Clark is also off with Ferguson on. It's a great save from Wayne Foster. Dumped well out of the playing area by Scott Nisbet. And that's Chris Woods making another good save. Here's Scott Nisbet, and Neil Cooper has served his suspension. He's back on the field, out of the sin bin after his 2-minute spell. So Nisbet goes inside, and He has been replaced by Ian McCall. Here's Neil Cooper. Davy Cooper playing it inside. It came off Whittaker, and Henry Smith was quick to the ball. Here's Don Cahoon. Hearts have to do something dramatic now. Henry Smith's clearance goes straight to Neil Cooper. Cooper gets a second for Rangers. An error there, a rare one by Henry Smith. The Rangers look in a commanding position now. That clearance by Henry Smith straight to Neil Cooper. He kept his head, looked up, saw the gap and drove the ball home. So here's Tosh McKinlay. Rangers now looking as though they're sure to join Motherwell in the semi-finals. Celtic and St Mirren waiting for them. And the referee is going to take action against Ian Ferguson. And that's sarcastic applause. You don't quite see it, but the sarcastic applause by Ian Ferguson for Jim McCluskey's decision. He will take no further part in the play, Ian Ferguson, the former Rangers player. Galloway knocking it down to Jordan, but the time has run out for Hearts. They're certainly not going to take any more part in the competition. They won it in 1985, but they'll take no further part in 1989. Headed away by Sanderson. There goes the final hooter. Rangers are through. The Coopers did it for them. Davy Cooper with a penalty, Neil Cooper with a shot, and Rangers go through to meet Celtic in the semi-final.
In the other semi-final, Motherwell, winners of Group 2, play St Mirren, runners-up in Group 1. Jimmy Nicholl, what a turn-up, a Rangers-Celtic semi-final. What do you think of it, Roy?
Well, I suppose we had to beat each other sometime in the competition. Now it's better than ever.
Yeah, I think the same. I think as long as everybody enjoys the game, we're certainly enjoying the football anyway.
The terrific thing is, Jimmy, we're seeing Rangers and Celtic supporters sitting in amongst each other tonight. They're thoroughly enjoying it, and they're obviously going to thoroughly enjoy this fixture.
Well, it's a whole idea. The evening, the last couple of nights have been the same. The supporters have been well behaved, so have the players. I made that as well. And let's hope it continues the next game.
Right, I suppose the old Celtic-Rangers rivalry, we're not going to see that intensity tonight at the Sixers, are we, on the field of play, I mean?
I don't know if it's that much intensity. At the end of the day, we're all just rivals, but we're all enjoying myself here tonight, and I suppose that Jimmy and myself are about to beat each other when we go in that park, no doubt about that.
We're looking forward to it. Right, Jimmy, thanks.
The Celtic start the first semi-final. Sheer bedlam inside the exhibition centre now. First foul of the match given to Celtic for the challenge by Neil Cooper. It'll be Joe Miller to take it. There's Roy Aitken. Joe Miller caught late there by Jimmy Nicholl, and referee George Smith taking a very firm grip on the proceedings. I recall him refereeing the Rangers Celtic Cup final of 1980, which Celtic won in extra time. And down goes Miller again, and this will be a sin bin offence for Jimmy Nicholl. Jimmy Nicholl is ordered off for 2 minutes, and that's 2 fouls inside a minute by Nicholl. Chris Morris hasn't been involved much so far in the match, but he's been a great servant to Celtic in the sixes. Joe Miller in a ankle, so it's Jimmy Nicholl coming clear. That's towards Nisbet. A shot saved by the legs of Andrews, and blocked there by Chris Morris. Handball waved aside by referee Smith, who was in perfect position. Here's Rogan, held up by Nisbet. Aitken to Grant, now Aitken again. Here's Joe Miller, followed across by Monroe, and Chris Woods was quick to the ball off the boards. Nicholl, Morris steps in. Tough exchange there between Morris and Neil Cooper, but it's Celtic in possession with Aitken. Here's Morris, well tackled by Nicholl. In comes Rogan. No quarter are still given, just as you would expect in an Old Firm match. Nothing friendly about this. Both sides determined to find their way through and gain a victory. Down he goes, bundled to the ground by Rogan. That'll be a foul. Rogan has waved away for bringing down Spencer, who's a very, very quick, busy player. Here's Davy Cooper over the free kick. Good shot to Spencer, that's blocked, perhaps by Nisbet in fact. Ian Andrews. There's only been one match where either side has failed to score in the entire tournament. That was Hearts in the last match against Rangers. So it's fair to expect some goals. None yet. The 6 minutes gone in the first half. There goes Cooper. Brilliant play by Cooper. Now Spencer, and Andrews recovers. Forward it goes now to Joe Miller. Miller back to Rogan. The final minute now of the first half. Still no goals, but lots of tough tackling and fierce running. Players having to pace themselves a little more for the semi-final with the additional time. It was 7.5 minutes in the qualifying matches, but now it's 10 minutes each way. Here's Spencer. Swigan is up with him. Tackle from Aiken. Here's Anton Rogan. Run back by Spencer, who's endearing himself to the Rangers fans. Now Stuart Munro. Reaches McSwegan. There's Peter Grant. Now Joe Miller, the last chance of the first half. It's off the boards to Grant. Just before the hooter, there's Chris Morris. The hooter goes. With Celtic on the attack, but they couldn't make the breakthrough. The half-time score at Celtic 0, Rangers 0. The start of the second half as Chris Woods goes to the end, which is full of Celtic fans predominantly, and the other end full of Rangers supporters. There's Ian McCall, and the best chance of the semi-final. He goes a begging. Ian Andrews looked to be stranded there as that ball came across from Cooper. The Rangers making changes at half-time. David Cooper, Ian McCall coming on for Spencer and McSwegan. Neil Cooper also on. Here's Nicol. Back it goes to Woods. Munro and Neil Cooper together. Here's Davy Cooper. Brought down heavily by Aiken. The Rangers fans want Aiken dispatched to the sin bin, but it's just about his first foul in the match, so referee George Smith is indulgent and allows the free kick to be taken with no further action. Here's Davy Cooper. Scott Nisbet's got on for Neil Cooper. Jimmy Nicol. Rogan steps in. It's Nicol again. Playing along the boards. Here's Ian McCall. Rogan's interception. There's the opener for Davy Cooper. Well, he certainly enjoyed that all right. Deadly left foot of Davy Cooper. The ball coming across. Cooper was first there ahead of Aiken, and Rangers go in front. Annoyed here now from the Rangers fans as Peter Grant tries to reply with that tremendous effort from long range. Well saved by Woods. Quite remarkably, no sign of any activity on the Celtic bench. The same 6 players who started the match remain on the field. John Spencer's back on, replacing Stuart Munro, and here's a great chance. Spencer scores! His first of the tournament, it's 2-0 to Rangers. Spencer all on his own. He just replaced Ian McCall, not Stuart Munro, and Andrews couldn't keep that out. Well, at long last now there's some activity on the Celtic bench rather. The same 6 players have fought the battle so far, but now they're going to bring on a change. Owen Archdeacon will come on in a moment. Rangers have been using their squad to the full there, the shot. And Joe Miller pulls one back for Celtic. The first effort came from Roy Aiken. The Celtic fans come to life now. The semi-final has burst to life. Look at that shot from Aiken. And the control in that shot from Joe Miller was incredible. So Joe Miller, with his 6th of the tournament, becomes the leading goal scorer. Celtic getting that goal equal the Hamilton tally of 13 for the tournament. £2,000 award to the leading goal scoring team in the tournament. Hamilton and Celtic together at the moment. A lot of play to go on though, with another semi-final and a final to come. There's Scott Nisbet. Aiken's pass back, Spencer dips in. The referee waves play on. Spencer screaming for a penalty kick. Well, led off for Celtic, and they're on the break now with Aiken. Here's Archdeacon. Well tackled by Monroe. Here's Spencer now. Believes firmly he was fouled by Andrews a moment ago. Here's Davy Cooper, rather. Still Cooper, now Monroe. Trying a delicate chip beyond Ian Andrews. Here's Aiken. Storming past Cooper and McSwegan. Nisbet taking on Morris. Chris Morris is entitled to be very tired indeed. Here's Davy Cooper. Well, he committed Andrews first and then played it off the top of the bar. Well, what a tremendous match, enjoyed by the packed crowd. Here's Joe Miller with Monroe again. This time the foul is against Joe Miller. Rangers get the free kick. Too fierce with his attentions on Stuart Monroe. Here's Cooper. It's Roy Aiken. Here's Nisbet. Fine effort by Nisbet. And it's stumped high in the air by Andrews. He couldn't come out of his area. That's beautiful control from Miller. Now Grant, the first time pass to the corner for Archdeacon. Off the boards, there's a chance on. It was saved down by Stuart Monroe, right in front of goal. A great piece of defending by Monroe. Here's Cooper going against Morris. Cross it comes to McSwegan. That's blocked by Peter Grant. Here's Jimmy Nicholl. And McCall. Back with Nicholl. Here's Cooper. Davy Cooper's 2nd of the match, his 3rd of the tournament. And that may win the match for Rangers. Look at the control and the finish. Archdeacon goes to retrieve it. He loses the ball to McCall. That looked like a foul by Archdeacon, yes. This surely means the tie is beyond Celtic. 15 seconds left, a free kick to Rangers. They'll be in no hurry to take this. The clock has now been stopped, and Neil Cooper is being spoken to for some complaint he made to the referee. I think it related to the failure to use the sin bin for Archdeacon's foul on McCall. There's Roy Aiken. Now Morris. The final hooter coming any second now. There it goes. Rangers the winners by 3 goals to 1. They go through to the final, and the man they have to thank is Davy Cooper.
McCall, Rangers triumphant. What was it like to play in that one?
It's a great atmosphere, tremendous, but there was no hassle, you know, it makes a difference.
That's right, I mean it was good clean stuff, although it certainly had a bit the old firm intensity, didn't it?
The last 3 minutes, you know, the different 3 minutes, how it's 10 minutes each half, makes it far harder, far harder. It's good to get a win though, great.